Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, who is the most merciful and most beneficent. My name is Aliza Shaukat. I am from BS English Evening 6th semester. Today, I am here to present you a topic from psycholinguistics, that is social interaction theory. We will take a brief account of social interaction theory in language acquisition. There are a variety of approaches that are used for language acquisition. Researchers do not agree that on how to account for language acquisition. Little is known about the actual origin of language as a system in the human brain. There are various questions that arises in the brain of linguistics that are still remain unanswered. Is language learned or inborn? Does it develop gradually or in distinct stages? Is language competence universal or individual? Is language a separate skill or is it an element of cognitive development? Is it a structure or a function that we acquire? For this purpose, uh, there are various approaches given that how we learn language. Let us take an account what these approaches are. Behavioral approach, the next one is nativist approach or linguist approach. Cognitive approach, and the last one is social interaction approach. What these approaches are. Let us see that what these approaches shows to us. These approaches are actually for the language acquisition, that how we learn or how we acquire the language from our environment or from our surroundings, and on which stage we acquire language. The first one is behaviorist approach that was presented by a linguist named Skinner. According to this approach, children imitate adult. For example, a child see his parents, his father or mother, and he copies his parents that what they are doing. In this way, a child learn the language. Like if we saw a child, we according to just do an experiment and just take a child and we speak a word in front of him once, twice, or thrice a day. That child started imitating us. That actually is behaviorist approach. That children imitate their adults. The next one is cognitive approach. It is actually that language is just one aspect of a child's over development, according to which a child learn language at any stage of his life. The next one is innatist, and it is that language is an innate capacity. And the last one is interactionist, that was presented by Berner, and Berner says that it emphasizes on the interaction between child and their caregiver. The caregiver may be their guardian, anyone from his family, his or her family, his parents, or anyone who give a care to the child. Let's see what actually social interaction theory is. Social interaction theory is an individual pattern of action and reaction in response to the other people. As I have told you earlier that a child imitates his parents, that is actually how a child learns from his environment. He responds to the other person. As he learn from, he go out, he see something, and that's a child starting to copy that thing. Social interaction theory is an explanation of language development, emphasizing the role of social interaction between the developing child and linguistically knowledgeable adult. It is based largely on the social cultural theories. The next one is that is there any specific period for language acquisition? According to one research, it is said that there is no any specific period for language acquisition. A child learn language at any stage of his life. According to sociology, the study of sociology revolves around the idea that we behave in distinct ways when we are in group. When you are alone, you act differently than when you are around other people. Like you are in any social group, you have your own unique set of behaviors and attitude. This is actually known as social interaction theory. It looks upon an individual's pattern of actions and reaction in response to the other people. According to social interaction theory, people's belief social behavior are determined by the social pressures they encounter, that they learn from their surroundings, from their social groups. What this means is that behavior is partially created in response to our surroundings, specifically our social groups. For example, a person who may normally too shy to sing in public can change their behavior if their entire social group actively participate in the singing. Like a child is too much shy to speak in front of his others, or he is too much shy that he cannot speak properly in front of any unknown person. But if we give the child the environment that everyone is participating, there is no restriction for him, he can actively participate, and there is no one who point out his mistakes, then that build up a confidence in a child, and a child learn in this environment easily. Let us come to the next. What actually the importance of social interaction theory? They can potentially reduce many health risks. A children can easily participate, and uh, he can easily acquire the things. He can easily language learning process become easy in this way. So it is very important. There is the social interaction is very important. A person who interact with other people is quite confident, despite of the person who remain in his or her house. We can see that the person who goes out are much more confident, or Jobians are much more confident than a person who live inside the house. So social interaction can become more difficult for those who are seniors and no longer work or live alone. The social interaction is in this way is a difficult task for some people. Let us continue our topic. Social interactionism ascribes the central role in the process of language acquisition to the environment. The focus of attention of social is the way interaction leads to the development of language competence. Let us take how social interaction takes place and how we learn from these things. First of all, sorry, there is social interaction takes place. We share our ideas with others, and we learn and we acquire their language. For example, is a group outside the house. We provide a student, a child, an environment where there are different people from different areas, and people come there, surround there in any ground or in any function, and there people, the child or other people share their ideas with each other, and in this way they can acquire their language. For example, let us take the example of English language. uh, we have a very little vocabulary, let's say, and when there we go outside, we interact with other people, we share our ideas with them, they share their ideas with us, then we came to know that we there this word can also be used for this word, and there are many like beautiful word we use. Beautiful is a common word, but when we go out, someone use the word marvelous, and we learn that that person used this word for this purpose. So we acquire language in this way. Collaboration, interaction, and discussion, these are the things that help us to acquire any other language. where there is in a gathering there are people from different areas, they speak different languages, and they share their ideas, they interact with each other, they discuss on any social political point. In this way we'll came to know about their language, what their norms are. We learn too much from this environment, not only language but their customs, their norms, that might be helpful for us in our life. Community, it helps to develop a communicative commun our relationship with our community. There is example of a scaffolding. Scaffolding, what actually is, it refers to the support or assistant that lets the child accomplish a task he or she cannot accomplish independently. It is not about doing the task for the child while he or she watches. It is about doing shortcuts for the child. It should involve the judicious assistance given by the adult so that the child can move from the zone of actual to the zone of proximal development. It actually means that we just give a task to the child, we just uh, mm, instruct him or her, and the child learn that thing. For example, let us take a situation: unzipping the lunch box, opening the food container. Let's there is a child in our house, and we just unzip any bag in front of him or her, and the child just see her twice thrice a day or 1 or 2 days, and then he learned that thing, that what my parents are doing I will do the same thing. So actually the parental language is that is actually parents helps us a lot to learn the language. And the next is example, there are many more examples of scaffolding. When the adult unzips the zipper or an inch or two, then holds the lunch bag still so that the child can continue to unzip the lunch bags. This is called as scaffolding. This is also helpful in learning any language. Loosening the food container, leading the straw to the hole. Like we have a pack of juice in our hand, and we just lead the straw to the hole and letting the child put the straw through the tetra pack. The twice or thrice we did this, and the child just see us and he started imitating us. He started learning from our social environment. In the same way, when when a person go out and he learn from his surroundings, he what he see there, he just learn these things. In the same case, he learns and acquired language. He learn language of other person. It is not basically, language is not age specific. Some people say that child learn language inborn, but it is not like as inborn language. No one can born perfect inborn. It is not any inborn ability. For example, we have a child that speak, we have parents that speak English, that belongs to an English family, but the child goes to any eastern country and he started speaking Urdu and Punjabi and many like these kind of languages, the language of eastern countries. So it is not depend upon the parents, or it is not any inborn capacity, I think so. But it develops or acquired from our surroundings, that what we see in our surrounding we learn that thing. Let us take as I have given you the example of a parent. We have must seen these kind of things. The parents are not too much um, uh, like literate. Some child have illiterate parent. So, but when he goes out for studying, he learns things from there that is not belongs to his parents, but he learns that thing. Like the and there is some kinds of norms becomes that we learn things from our society. According to Bernard, the child learns how to use language within the social context of language use in which the child interact. He grows up and needs to interact in the social scenario of the caretaker around him, and he generally or gradually adopts their movements and language. That what actually the social interaction theory is according to Bernard. Let us conclude this topic. Like Piaget, that give us in it a linguist approach, Bernard believed that child have an innate capacity that helps them make sense of the world, and that cognitive abilities develop through active interaction. Like when we interact with each other, when the child interact with other people, he learn from that things. And in any scenario, child learn in social scenario of the caretaker around him, and he adopt his language, his movements. That what actually is a child born in any eastern country and sent to the western country just after his birth. He doesn't. That was not parental like. He will not accept the things that he don't know what kind of parents he has. He learned the from his social status, from his environment that was provided to him in that western country. He adopted the clothing as same. He adopted the language of that era. He adopted, if his caretaker is from any eastern country, then he might be become like his parents. But if he is sent to western country and there are western people, he goes out with western people. They speak english or french or what kind of languages they speak. The child learn from that kind of languages. So that is our whole topic. Any question, any query you may ask. Thank you so much.